Wow. Cardano is commanding a lot of respect for the first time in a while. It's hitting a higher high, it's hitting higher lows. There's a lot of news about Charles Hoskinson right now, and this is going to be freaking huge if it's all true. And right now it looks like it's true. It's just a question of what happens next. We'll get to all of it. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video, hit the like button if you want me to make future videos on Cardano. Last cycle, we talked about Cardano a lot, but it was in such a vicious downtrend that we didn't hit on it a lot recently. We've been talking about Bitcoin because Bitcoin dominance has been going up, but you can see Cardano start to break out, which could be quite bullish. There's a lot of bullish things going on. So again, let me know in the comments or hit the like button if you want me to make more Cardano videos. Also, if you want to trade Cardano, there's a link underneath the video to Margex. You can sign up in just a few minutes. There's no KYC, and you don't need a VPN to get started. And you can trade Cardano with all different kinds of collateral. You can use Cardano to trade Cardano. You can use Link to trade Cardano. You can use Bitcoin to trade Cardano, which is pretty interesting. And you can use Cardano as collateral on other trades as well. So it's a bit more advanced if you want to do it that way, but you can always just trade with USDC or USDT. I think it's a great time to trade, and yeah, there could be vicious moves on Cardano here soon, so you might want to get started and set this up all right away. Now, as you can see on Cardano's chart, we do have a higher low. We bounced off this line a couple times, right around 31 cents, and then just a vicious move in a very short period of time. If you look here, this is November 6th. So about 11 days ago, and we moved up, 120%, 150%, 150%. And then we actually hit a higher high just slightly by about a half a penny or so. We went up another, we went up 150%. We're pulling back a little bit now, which makes sense, right? Whenever you have this kind of massive move, it's normal to see a pullback. And there's a lot of news here today. Let's just start and go through all the news, rumors, all that kind of stuff. Bull Street Journal says, it's been a crazy 2 weeks for Cardano. Rumors about Charles Hoskinson and the Trump administration have been flying around, but what actually has been said? Let's summarize. Fully staffed policy office in DC within 3 months. I met with the transition team. No one has been formally offered a role on the crypto committee. We will engage in U.S. crypto policy. We're leveraging relationships we've made over the last 3 years. So Charles just saying, hey, we're in a really good spot. We are talking with the transition team in D.C. No one's been offered a role, but I've been talked to about it, etc. He said it's very clear I'm going to be involved in some capacity influencing policy. Crypto positions aren't a first pick. We've been in contact with the administration and continue to be so. And without a Treasury SEC, we don't know how many can serve at the White House level. Keep in mind, too, let me actually play one for you. You can hear him talk about this.
There are $20 trillion of real-world assets that are waiting to enter the cryptocurrency space. There's $100 trillion of global markets that the cryptocurrency space can expand to, and cryptocurrencies will enter mainstream consumers' everyday lives, and all Fortune 500 companies will adopt them. That is the reward for cooperation, that is the reward for objectivity, and that's the reward for fairness in the rulemaking that comes forward. Every single leader in this industry has to recognize that and realize that this is a very rare moment where we get that reset. And if we act with humility and we act with unity, that reset will happen quickly. And we will be able to get a very significant package of bills passed during the next 2 years. As these conversations are ongoing, I won't comment any more on them, and we'll just wait for the transition to do its process. And I look forward to seeing the specific ethics requirements, and I look forward to seeing the other things that come to play, and also understanding what the balance is between the legislative branch and the cooperation there and the executive branch of the United States. Because it's still unclear how those two components are going to come together and how this policy is going to come together. Much more will be clear in the next 60 to 90 days, and I will be traveling to Washington, D.C. on a pretty regular basis throughout all of 2025.
So if you're starting to feel bullish, if you're starting to feel maybe some FOMO in Cardano, I will talk about how to get an allocation now so you don't miss out, but also you don't want to, pile in because you're feeling FOMO. We'll talk more about that towards the end, but let's keep on covering some of the news. There's still more on this. He said, I've been pulling names and providing them to the transition team. I intend to speak in front of Senate. So I think it's pretty clear. Basically, he is in talks with the White House about crypto policy moving forward. That could be beneficial to Cardano's price, to Cardano's token, to the use of Cardano. Because if they get the stamp of approval, well, then more people will build on Cardano. So that way they're not persecuted for what they build on other chains. There's also this picture from just 3 days ago. It was a good day, and he's over at SpaceX. So what's going on there? He did confirm they signed an NDA with SpaceX. And yeah, it's interesting because we don't know obviously what he's doing with SpaceX. This Twitter account says that they'll tell us after 1,000 likes. So we'll see what comes out of that. Maybe they're helping digitize something. I'm not sure. Even Alex Becker, who likes to give Cardano holders crap because, he sold towards the top and he told people that he was going to sell and they gave him a hard time and then it went down. He says Cardano is probably going to go to an all-time high. Cardano has a lot of attention. Charles Hoskinson is a big name in the space and Cardano does a lot of things right. The technology actually works really well. So with that in mind, when is Cardano going to make the next move and how big will it be? Well, it's been Bitcoin season, to be clear. The last 2 years, basically, we've just seen a relentless move up in terms of Bitcoin dominance. So the percentage of Bitcoin's market cap compared to the total market cap has been climbing and climbing and climbing. Only really this week did I feel like we saw signs of life in altcoins. And you can see that based on a handful of different cryptos like Sui, like Cardano, like Pepe. They're still kind of moving disjointedly. Disjointedly, is that word? Let me know in the comments. They're still moving where like Bitcoin will move up and then there'll be a lot of laggers, but then there'll be like two cryptos that kind of outpace, like two of the big cryptos. Like today we have Solana and you go down the list and you have Sui maybe doing a little bit better, Toncoin doing a little bit better. But in general, there are a lot of cryptos that are just doing slightly worse than Bitcoin all the time. We saw Pepe do really well. We saw Dogecoin do really well. We saw Cardano and now Solana and Sui. And these cryptos move, but they move at different times. So we're not getting that like altcoin pump yet that I think some people are waiting for where everything moves up. Like maybe Bitcoin goes up 3% and then we have alts going up 10 to 20%. We're not seeing that yet. So while Cardano has made a nice little pump over the last few days, the fact is it's still not really convincingly breaking out versus where we went back in March. Like it's not really moving that far above our highs then. So I think we're just going to kind of consolidate here until the next big move up on Bitcoin. It makes sense, right? Bitcoin moved huge over the last couple of weeks, and then the last like 5 or 6 days, it's calmed down. So this moved up and then consolidated and then made another big push up, but it got rejected pretty much the same level that it was at back in March. If we can convincingly move up above this line, maybe we move up to $1 or so, because that's a big psychological level, get rejected, come back and test this line around 80 cents, and then make another move up. We do have Alex Becker saying that he thinks we're hitting all-time highs for Cardano this cycle, which would be over $3, basically a 4x from here. The fact is that would put Cardano around a $100 billion market cap. It's a pretty key psychological level, too, for a lot of people. They watch that $100 billion market cap level. Dogecoin was just short of that last cycle. We have Cardano getting much, let's see here. Lower than that last cycle. It got rejected around 94 billion. So yeah, right around that level, that upper 2, maybe lower 3 range would be pretty much in line with last cycle, especially when you account for the increase in money supply. If some of these things do well and they really do start working with the government more and there's more hype on Cardano again, I would not be surprised to see us move above that mark, right? I mean, when you look at the total crypto market cap, hitting maybe $10 trillion or something like that. So basically a 3x from here. I would not be surprised to see Cardano 5, 6x. I could always be wrong on that, but if you look at Ethereum going up to maybe $9,000, $10,000, it's going to be sitting around a $1.1, $1.2 trillion market cap. So Cardano being a tenth of that, it doesn't sound crazy to me. Of course, it still would be a very bullish market, and maybe it goes up higher, right? Maybe it goes up higher. The last few days of a bull market, you can see 20, 50, 60% moves in a day, especially if there's something really interesting announced. So just know that it's in the top 10, so it is one of the larger cryptocurrencies. I mean, even if it was outside the top 10, like it would be half the size that it is now. So the fact is, it is a large crypto. It takes a lot to move it, but it still has a lot of people that watch it and a lot of people that love Cardano from last cycle and the cycle before even. But let me know your thoughts. Of course, there are some cryptos that I think, are newer and don't have some of the same resistances, right? They don't have to go through previous cycles prices and try to break through certain price points that are going to get a little bit sticky. And they have newer technology, all that kind of stuff. But what you get a drawback on for that, maybe you get better tech, maybe it works faster, maybe it's cheaper, but you don't have all the building, all the partnerships, all the people that are holders that have held it for years that want to see it do well. Now, if you're feeling underallocated towards Cardano, one thing that I love to do is leverage trade. Now, I don't put my whole portfolio in there. I'm not trading with 50% of my portfolio, even 20%. It's below that. But what you can do is you can get access to more crypto than you could otherwise. So let's say you have $100,000 crypto portfolio. I know some people aren't there, but the numbers are easy. Maybe you put $10,000 or so into Margex. Again, not financial advice. And then you want to trade ADA. You want to get access to more tokens, right? Well, we saw a recent pullback or recent resistance around, let's say 65 cents. We're at 72 cents now. So maybe you go 10x on Cardano. And that means that basically if we break through the 65 cent mark, you'll get liquidated. If we go up, you're going to make tons of money. But you go 10x on Cardano, and maybe you do it with $2,000. Right? If you only want to get access to Cardano, or maybe you want to put some other long positions on, you could do this. And then let's say we go up, well, you make a ton of money. You can continue leverage trading at important areas of resistance and support. Let's say we go down and you get liquidated at 65 cents. Well, in this scenario, I feel completely comfortable getting liquidated, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to set a limit right above where I get liquidated. And then I have another about 6 cents or so that I can have it fall down. And then around 59 cents, I might get liquidated again. This is like worst case scenario. Then I put another long position on there. So then I'm good till 54 cents. Then I put another long position. I'm good to 49. And then I'm good back down to 40s, right? So I can continue putting long positions in until we bounce. There's a good chance in bull runs that you go down to a prior resistance and then bounce off. So we might, well, depending on what happens Monday, we might never get back down to 65 cents. But in this scenario, you could go down to 65. Maybe you bounce and then you get liquidated once or not at all, and then we continue up to Valhalla. If we went up to $1.40, for example, then I would get a 10x on my Cardano position. Now, of course, this is risky. This is assuming that you are willing to continue to ride the wave down. And I might even go a little bit less aggressive on that than 20% of the portfolio. I might do like 10 to 12 or something, because then you can go all the way back down to like Cardano in the 20s, which would be absolutely nuts. I don't think we're getting back down there anytime soon, maybe ever, to Cardano in the 20s, because we barely got that this cycle. It's just like a wick down for a day, unless you go back to like 2023. We haven't seen that this year. Now, I go through the worst case scenarios because you have to know what could happen. But let's say, we see a pullback, 10% pullback, and then we move up to $3. Okay, let's say you even get liquidated that first time. So you get pullback to 65 cents, your next order gets hit, your limit order gets hit, you're on 10x leverage, and then we go up from 65 cents to $3. That is basically a 4.5x move. So you would have 450% profits times 10 because you're leveraged. Let's say there are some funding fees over. Maybe you have a 4,000% profit, a 4,000% profit. And maybe you have an underlying Cardano. So you have Cardano as your collateral, which has gone up 4x. And then the position itself is up 4,000%. That would give you 160x. 160x based on that $2,000 position. If I'm doing my math right, you're looking at like a $300,000 position, which is crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but it can be done. And you would lose that initial position, but still, I don't think you're too worried about that. Your leverage trade is bigger than your portfolio at that point. I know it sounds crazy, but it's possible. So that's why I like these kinds of things, because it gives you access to large altcoins, but it gives you so much more upside. Of course, you have to deal with the volatility, though, and you have to manage the risk properly. You're probably taking profits on the way up, too, because that would make sense. You don't want to wait until the very end to take profits, and then, I don't know, the crypto crashes or something like that. So you would probably take profits along the way. Let me know your thoughts, though. Let me know if this is something that you're doing. I think, again, you can get access to more capital, so that way you can build up a position, but it is risky. You have to be willing to take that risk and make sure you know what you're doing if you're leverage trading. Don't just trade blindly. Let me know your thoughts. Of course, there's so many questions with Cardano, like what's going to happen next? Like, is this going to turn into something with the US government? What is going on with SpaceX? How can Charles influence the White House and all that? So let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Obviously, lots of catalysts over the next couple months. We'll have to see how they pan out. Let me know if you want to see more Cardano videos, and if you want to trade it, there's the link down to Margex. See you all in the next one.